Right. Awesome.
Awesome. Well, my name is Tara. My husband Gerson, and we're Kelley's Bulldogs, located out of Orlando, Florida. We have a small kennel of Old English Bulldogs, which we have just fallen in love with this breed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a little bit about our kennel. We're young. We only started breeding for about 4 years, maybe a little over 4 years now. And but we own our first bulldoggy about almost close to 7 years now, a little over 6 years from now. Um, we own dogs all our lives. Um, we grow up with dogs, and for a large number of years, we always adopted dogs. We rescue a good number of dogs from the shelters, primarily all oriented to the bully dogs. Pit bulls, pit bulls mix, a little bit of American
American
bullies.
bullies, yeah.
Um, you know, but one thing they although we love our pets a lot, one thing that we encounter is that a lot of those pets that we adopted, a lot of our dogs that we had through all our years, they added up in a large number of medical bills
and health issues,
and with a lot of health issues. And about 7 years ago, the last three dogs that we adopted, kind of like the same age, they all kind of passed around the same time to the point where we only have one dog left. We always own like four dogs at a time, three dogs at a time. We always like to have several dogs in the house. And, after facing all those challenges,
time and time again,
with all the dogs that we have adopted, we started doing some research about, what would be the perfect dog. Healthy, protective. We had kids. We had two young ones. In that time, they were 1 year old, 1 year old, and 5 year old. That's what they were. They were very little. And, we were looking for that perfect dog. Healthy, strong, athletic,
family dog, but protecting.
and protected. And we did our research. We look in different breeds. We look in the American Bulldog. We look in the Bulldogges. We look in the American Pit Bulls. We look in American Bullies. And the one thing that kept coming in front of us was the Olde.
Yep.
The
How healthy and athletic and strong it was, and it basically checked all of our check marks that we were looking for.
Yeah.
So then after that was finding the right breeder and finding the right dog to start everything, which is a whole nother search. And thankfully we took our time doing that. We really, it took us a good year. We went and searched and visited kennels and visited puppies, and what you think you're going to love, you end up not loving. And then, you fall in love with other stuff. It was a good search, though. It took a lot of time. We put a lot of effort into it to make sure we made the right decision, because we wanted to start something. We just absolutely love the oldies. Once we got the first one, we were hooked, and we haven't looked back since. That's for sure, right?
Yeah. Our first one was a girl. It was a female. She's the oldest dog that we have right now. Aside from our last adopted one, we still have the last adopted one from the very last batch.
She's a bully breed, an American bully too. Yeah.
And she was amazing from the get go. At that time, my daughter was one, 2 years old. Every parent is concerned. Like this dog will be safe around the kids. That's the primary reason, or one of the big red flags. We want a dog that's safe with the kids. And she was amazing. Perfect, always close to the kids. Always protective. Always very friendly, acting like a baby in the house. But then surprisingly, you know, uh, she was also a very, very good guard dog. She behaved very protective of the home when we were not home. Even when we were home and she would hear some noise or anything, she would behave in protective mode. Which gave us a sense of safety and at the same time. So the more time that we have with the old English Bulldoggy, we came to fall in love even more after all the research that we did, and then that motivated us to start our own kennel. We thought, hey, this dog is amazing. This breed is amazing. We had so many different breeds, even hound dogs. We had all different kind of dogs that we adopted through the years. And when we came across this one, it was almost perfect. Perfection in almost every way.
And the reason why we wanted to start our own kennel was for the health of the breed, because when we were looking, we ran into a lot of backyard breeders, and they weren't concerned of the health of the dog, where they were concerned of just breeding and making colors and doing this and doing that. And we find it's important to preserve the oldie and make it the best it can be. And having a healthy, strong, athletic dog is part of that vision that we share. So
yeah, so we decided to, take that step. And from the get-go, we knew it was going to be a big responsibility. And certainly, more than anything, I can say, and in reality, it's never about the money. It was about being able to extend that same joy that we have about having this amazing dog to other people,
other families, and
you
just bully enthusiasts.
And then we have put a lot of effort, since the very beginning. And I got to mention right now, we had a great mentor.
Amazing mentor.
Amazing mentor. We had worked closely with Kelley from Black Horse Bulldogges here in Ocala, Florida. And she's done the Old English Bulldoggie, to my knowledge,
over
for over 25 years. And she was an amazing mentor to us. It still is, and also she's a partner to everything that we do when it comes down to maintaining the line
and the health of the dog.
And the health of
she has the same visions we do. We want it to be a working dog. We want it to be healthy, be able to breathe, to move and all that stuff. So yeah, we definitely connected with her, and she's been absolutely amazing. We can't say more than enough good things about her.
Yeah, and that's kind of like how we started.
Where do you think your passion for dogs happened? Like, was it when you were a kid? Was your family in dogs? Or?
When we were kids, I've had dogs all my life. I don't think I've never not been without a dog in my life. And then I fell in love with animals so young. I ended up going to the veterinary field. I, on a whim, just went and said, I want to work here. I started off in the kennels, and I worked my way up to a vet tech. Then I worked my way up to a head surgery nurse. So, I mean, I got very familiar with a lot of different breeds of dogs and a lot of their health issues. I was best friends with the English Bulldog owners because I knew them all very well. They were in every week about because of their health issues. Yes, they're cute and adorable and lovely and great companions and have a great attitude. But unfortunately, with the traditional English Bulldog, it just comes with too much. So I learned a lot of what breeds I liked and what I didn't like in the vet field because I saw so many. I mean, you're constantly seeing pets all day long. You get to see the good, the bad, the blood work, the everything. So that kind of helped us decide more of the breeds that we were leaning towards in the beginning as well, because I had a lot more knowledge than most people. Most people don't get to see all that all the time. So it was very interesting. You grew up with dogs all your life too?
I'm originally from South America, from Peru, and I grew up with dogs since literally I learned to walk. Mm-hmm. And through my years when I was a kid, my mom owned a small business in a market, and there were 5 to 6 guard dogs in that particular location. And I had to say the level of intelligence of these guard dogs, the way they move around guarding the properties without any supervision, following the pack leader, moving around, even knowing how to cross the streets, you don't see that here in the US, but these dogs were extremely intelligent, self-sufficient, and me and my younger brother, we used to play with those dogs since we were kids, and they were puppies to us, playing with us all the time. But when it was time to guard the property, they turned into a whole different kind of animal, and they always amazed me since I was a child. I always wanted them myself, and yeah, now it's my chance,
Now you have plenty.
Yeah, I have plenty.
More than enough.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's not a lot of Old English out there. So I was very intrigued and interested in it. and just dug in deep about the knowledge of them. And when I started meeting them, once I met them and I saw them and saw how intelligent and healthy and the way they moved and breathed. We're in Orlando, Florida, so we have hot, hot, and hotter for our seasons. And when you can see a dog, our dogs run in our backyard. They can do it all day long and be fine. Um, then we go to these other shows and we see these other breeds, and they are absolutely melting, dying in the sun, just sitting there. So, I mean, just the breathing aspect, the moving aspect, the health aspect has just been an eye opener. I mean, it's important. I don't want to kill a dog out there, and our dogs are so strong. They're amazing. They teach me something all the time. They're showing me their unbelievable willingness and health all the time as well. So it's amazing breed.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. I mean, that's our main focus is the health, and
Yeah.
it keeps driving it forward. And
Yeah, we seen we seen all the dogs out there, and even when we go to the shows, we see a slightly variance, I guess. But you're correct. Yeah, like we focus primarily on the health of the dog. Like my wife mentioned, we live in Florida, and it's hot almost all year long, and um, our dogs perform out there well, and we exercise with them. They're exposed to the elements, and I had to say I'm really proud of what I'm seeing and how these dogs do out there. Now some of the litters and some of the puppies that we have been able to put in homes over the last few years. The owners of those puppies are now large dogs. They send us pictures that they stay in touch, and we seen playing in the mountains, in Alaska, hiking.
Colorado, Alaska, Arizona. They go all over and they excel, and they just they do hikes that people can't do, and take leadership of it. And it's amazing. I love hearing back from everyone all the time about their love of their dog that they got from us and how happy they are, and it's amazing. It makes us happy and fulfilled.
So definitely, yes.
We're on the right path.
The health of the dog and to be able to being muscular, being athletic, being able to perform. Because the original vision of this breed, according to Mr. Levitt, was an athletic working dog. And although some of our good friends maybe perhaps lean a little more into a little larger, perhaps taking away the working ability, we like to stay close in a balance in between a nice working dog, but it's still a nice companion also as well. And when it comes down to the health, yes, we do health test all our dogs prior to any breeding. And we only allow a dog to be breeding if they pass through this test. So the next generation is, if not as healthy, even better. Working towards better always.
Always trying to improve. Well, first we do. I think the health test is important, but we also make sure that the structure is important too, because it's kind of like a whole package. Not only structure, the genetics, but you also have to the temperament too. You have to have the whole package. So all of that I play into testing our dogs. So we typically do always a health test, which includes the CMR1, the DM, and the HUU, which is your typical borderline basic bulldog panels to test for any genetic issues. And of course, you don't want to crossbreed with any other genetic issues. So we want to start there and make sure we're not carrying anything over to the future generations. And then, of course, the temperament test, the structure test. Structure is huge because with bulldogs, you got those big old heads, those big old chests. You got to have the body to carry it and muscle to carry it. So it has to be well balanced, definitely, for sure. And it has to be socialized. Socialization is so important in bulldogs. If you're not going to have a leadership in the family as taking care of the dog, then the dog's going to run all over you with any bully breed. And that's just across the line because they're so smart and stubborn. And it's like a child. If you let it get away with it, they're gonna get away with it until you put a stop to it. So that's definitely an important part too. But I mean, we've had nothing but amazing temperaments with our dogs. We've been really lucky.
We spend a lot of time in their training as well. For believe it or not, and you might have heard this from a lot of people, but something as simple as those walks. Walking those dogs for a good about maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes, create that bond and corrects a lot of the behavior problems that most people face with their dogs. And
socialization.
Yeah, and socialization. Take them to the store. Allow them to see other people, other dogs, to correct those behaviors. They stray them away from a little destruction on the house, or maybe being over aggressive, or acting up in a different way. People wonder why my dog is doing that. And it all comes down to something as simple as just taking them for a walk so they can release the stress, release the energy, see other things.
Separation anxiety. If the dog only knows you and then you go to work and you took everything away from it, of course it's going to have anxiety. It doesn't know that it can do other things and be okay without you. You have to teach the dog, of course.
They are, in essence, a working dog, so we have to give it a purpose, and then I do practice a little bit, we do some exercise with the dogs, and then I do a very small amount of bike work with only
with the flirt pole.
With only some of the dogs, and then some of the flirt pole as well, in order for them to give them a purpose, because they are a working dog, so you want to give them something to do constantly so they can feel that they have a
keep them busy, just like kids. Keep them busy.
And then you want to mention the Super Dog program?
Oh yeah, we also we do, when our puppies are born, this thing called the Super Dog program, where it helps open their neurological thinking and their health from a very young age. So we've done that with all of our litters and had great success with it. And we see exceeding results of intelligence and drive and love of it. It is, we begin, I think, when it's 3 days old, 3 days old?
5 days old.
5 days old. 5 days old. It's a little program we do, and we do these different stimulation tests that opens up the brain and does all these amazing health benefits to them that we have seen pretty good results from.
Yeah, primarily when we read and did some research about this program, we learned that it was practiced in the military, primarily with German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, but also they're practiced with American Bulldogs. They are in their protection work, for police, and it's something simple, just some movements, some steps, some exposure to different temperatures, and basically what it does is stimulate them to perform better when they're grown.
When they're younger, because when they're younger, it opens those brain waves up that normally wouldn't be opened up. So it allows them to open up, and for the dog to use a higher, more level of their brain, and neurologically they have that advantage, because if not, they would be closed off. So it just basically opens those pathways for them to use now and in the future, which is pretty cool. I mean, just by some exercises and stuff you need to do. But it's definitely worth it, I think, the extra steps. And some days it's harder, but we do both work full time, and we have 2 kids and run the kennel ourselves. So it's a lot, but we love it, enjoy it, and couldn't be more happier with it. So it brings us all joy and brings our family close together. It's so great to get the kids involved and teach them responsibility and teach them how to connect with animals and the love of it. And they both excel in it, and they love their animals, and they're well known everywhere by the other kids that they're the dog home. And it helps them with their self-esteem and their how to discipline and themselves to work with the dogs and connect, and it's pretty amazing.
So the little exercise, what the purpose are, because it's just a series of small exercise, they improve the heart rate. One of the things that it does is the purpose and the goal of that. It creates a stronger adrenal glands, and then more tolerance to stress and greater resistance to disease. And that is when you do the reading and the research about this super dog program. That's
I
basically
think
the
they
first
learn
step.
quicker too.
Yes,
I've seen that they have picked up a lot quicker commands and training and fault. They're more
confident.
confident.
They're
That's the word I'm looking
confident.
for.
Yes.
Confident. Yeah. Um, to when would they do that? Because obviously we've had other dogs and we didn't know about this program until we started breeding, but um, I've seen a big difference of the intelligence, the confidence, the willingness, and yes, bulldogs are bulldogs and will always be a little stubborn, but
Yeah. And then, when you do a little more research about the program, also, they talk about the socialization being kind of the second step, because those series of exercise is the first step when they're just born. And then when they're young, I believe until 14 weeks, you're supposed to be uh, engaged in the puppy in that socialization with other animals, with people, and then the final step is kind of like enrichment. And originally they did that, to put more confidence in those animals, when they do research, or when they go after, the bad guys, you want to put it that way, when they go to the intense training. And what it does to a bulldog is, and to an extent, something very similar, create that confident, obedient dog, but at the same time, it is a very strong breed. It is, yes, it's stubborn too. So it requires constant engagement, commitment. You need to put some time for all those owners out there. They have an oldie, and they think that the dog is gonna come perfect from the package. Sometimes, you just gotta put time in there, and socialize and expose and walk them, uh, give them a little training, and then, so you can get the perfect dog that you want. But yes, that is the purpose of the program. And yeah, we have seen some amazing results in the behavior of the dogs. And you know we don't have destruction. I mean, a lot of people can say, yes, my dogs destroy the couch. They believe it or not, we haven't had that problem. And we have four inside the house in times, and sometimes we leave and we come back and nothing. So yes,
that's a win.
we seen amazing results due to being make putting this program to not to an extent, because I'm sure when you do it professionally, it's even more intense. But to the level the way we do it, we've seen some amazing results. Yes. Okay, so the vision that we have, and I got to say, our partner Karen here in Ocala have. But speaking for ourselves more than anything, when we start doing the research and we go back in the history, we go back to when David Levitt started back in 1970s. And his idea was to recreate the 1800 English bulldog as it used to be back in the days. Able to do that work, the bull baiting. Very athletic, strong bulldog. He described, if I remember correctly, through his videos and through some of his writings, that the dog came to a point where it had too many issues, and he needed to rebuild it again. And he did that mix between all different breeds when he came up with this working dog. And as you look at some of his videos, his vision was a working bulldog. You know, and we are aware that he separated, because a lot of other people tried to engage into the same work that he was doing, and they deviated, so he decided to go into his own line, the Levy Bulldogs. But the way he described it, the way he recreated it, it's supposed to be a healthy old English bulldog,
Healthy working,
healthy
athletic.
working dog. And that's kind of like our starting point. Now, although we do not own a Levy Bulldog, the vision that he has, the idea and the goal that he had with this dog is something that we believe is the most important thing to follow. He wanted a dog that was healthy, that didn't have any of these problems that the current English Bulldog has. The vision of that dog that once was athletic, healthy, working, you know, uh, powerful, but yet again, a good companion for the family with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They, will never be a trouble to his own family, but at the same time, there's confident, protective, without being aggressive, you know. That's how we go back to the history of the Old English Bulldoggy.
Yeah.
And again, we thrive for that vision. That is what we want to see in our dogs.
Yeah.
No exaggerations to the extreme. Not really. That's not what we want. More than anything, we want a dog. It looks like a bulldog, and it looks amazing. And it has a nice structure. When you see him, people will go like, "Wow, that's spectacular." That's a nice bulldog. But at the same time, it's a very functional dog. And that's where I can say myself. We can go back a little bit in time to the history of this breed.
What registry do you guys partake in?
Uh,
ABKC, WBA, IABCA. We do quite a few because we've recently, the past 2 years, got into showing. We now are into showing, and we've fallen in love with that. It's amazing. So we try to go to every single show in Florida that we can hit up, because we don't care what registry it is, because the bulldog, of course, is not recognized everywhere for the oldie. So when we find a show, we go.
Yeah, primarily the reason why we choose these three registries to register our dogs is because they have a high reputation. They're well known. Their standard
And their standards
is
are good,
pretty
yeah.
close to what the vision of the dog is, and then it's slightly different one register from the other one. I preferly the IADCA is something that when you go there, you have international judges that come, and then they give you a handwritten critique of the dog. So they sit with you after you do the showing, and according to the breed standard, they go line by line, and they give you an exact critique of where are you in that specific area.
Are you good? Are you bad? Which is good, because you never get that one-on-one time with judges, and it's amazing to hear the feedback on, okay, I need to improve on this, or pull back on this, or push this, or it's a very valuable show that we get a lot of information on, and we take and use that in our kennel as needed.
That helps us to stay aligned with the breed standard as well.
Yeah.
Because that for us is extremely important. We have our vision. Sometimes people in general, us as being ourselves, we try to deviate in that and say we need someone to give us a little realignment. And then wait, this is the way it's supposed to be. And then when we do those shows, and the judges specifically from this specific registry do that for us, it helps us improve.
So when you when you go to breed, what is the standard that you want to live by? What is the ideal Old English Bulldog to you? And I mean height, weight, structure, head type, everything. Just kind of give me a verbal description that I can vision with my eyes.
So generally speaking, the males anywhere between 60 to 80 pounds, 17 to 19 inches tall. And then for the females, 50 to 70 pounds. And then somewhere between 16 and 18 inches tall.
Big chest,
big
head.
Nice wide chest, a nice structured head.
A good bite. Of course, they're supposed to have an underbite, but not too exaggerated, not too, you don't want anything crooked, and you don't want it too far out. You just want that nice little tight bite.
A nice back structure, a nice rear.
Yeah, rears are important.
A lot of people focus in the upper part of the bulldog, and they totally ignore the rear. And I gotta be honest, my partner, good friend, Kelley, she's like, make sure that rear is perfect. They have to be aligned. There has to be a nice angulation.
So you don't have a good rear, you don't have a good front.
Yes, and that is some of the basics that we will say is what we look in our breed, aside from being athletic, being healthy, with the health in the combination with the health test. The colors, You know, we like to stick to primarily to the standard. So we got some chocolate, we got some sable,
black,
we got some red,
mm-hmm.
Some brindle, and those are the colors that we have on kennel.
And blues.
Slightly blue.
Blue tries. We have
blue
a couple of
tries.
those.
Two boys that are blue tries.
But that's our standards. We try not to color outside the lines too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. Really, really amazing. I think for a family or anyone too, because you're not too small, but you're not too big either. It's kind of right at that perfect point where is good for everybody.
It allows the dog to be functional.
Yeah.
That's the perfect size for the dog to be functional.
Very.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the trends that you see in the Old English Bulldog world that you that give you pause a little bit, that you really want to educate people on, that maybe that's not the correct way?
Oh, you know, that's a very delicate subject because you know,
everybody has their own vision
yeah,
in the oldie world, unfortunately.
Everybody, we follow a lot of people on social media, and you know, we see all the kennels, and their dogs look spectacular, you know, and you know, like you mentioned, the extreme looks real nice. Maybe in some areas when the weather is not so bad, not so hot, you know, it will be okay. If you're not planning to do a lot of exercise, you just wanted to keep it in the house, just to look at it maybe for a short walk, maybe, you know. But some take it a little too far in the extreme, and then they put in jeopardy the health of the dog. And they look amazing, but like we mentioned, you know, we go to those shows. And
like some dogs have really good chest and head, but don't have a rear, and they can't move. They don't have the power or the structure to move the dog properly. So they struggle. Don't like that.
Yeah, we seen some largers that they suffer.
Yeah.
You know, they struggle. You know, especially a lot of the shows that we attend are outdoor. And Lord, like I see, they have fans, cooling mats, everything to keep
ice, water.
Like
they have vets right there with alcohol and ready to take them off and oxygen, and I mean, it's crazy.
While we are right there standing with our dogs in the middle of the sun, fine. You know, we've seen all these other ones suffering, and it hurts a little bit, you know, to see that they look beautiful, you know, but they take it a little too far.
I mean, you got to make sure you have clear nostrils and breathing airways, especially with a working dog. So if you want that squishy face, but you don't want it too extreme. If you go too extreme, you're going to have the breathing and health issues. Same with the eyes. You don't want any eye issues or ear issues. Again, if they go too extreme with that, then you have issues further down the line. So we try to keep it right there.
That's some of the things that we witness when we go to attend to those events, you know, and they look nice, but you know, maybe we try to lean more towards the healthy dog.
What are some of the struggles that you guys face when you do breed? What are the things that kind of make you worried the most? Like, oh God, is this dog going to have, you know, good rear angulation, or oh, is the headpiece going to be right? What are some of the things that you guys really trying to concentrate on now to kind of hone in?
Issues.
Time. Time is our biggest issue.
Issues.
Time and energy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a chef as a career. You know, as you might know, in the restaurant industry, you know, chefs, we work a lot. You know, our shifts are very long, and you know, my wife works a lot too as well. So yes, I would say the only challenge that we face is the time, but we make it work.
Yeah.
You know, but when it comes down to the breeding issues, we had not come really across any yet. No.
Which we're thankful for. That means we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I have an amazing mentor.
We have an amazing mentor, and we're not rushing into it and really taking our time, educating ourselves before we jump. We're not jumping before we look. We're looking before we jump. And, we're just trying to continue down that path. And
Yeah, talk about how important that is, and I feel like that's missing in the dog world. I went on live before I came on here just to air out some things that I was thinking about, and one of those things is just kind of the hypocrisy sometimes. And I'm not trying to be negative here, but breeders that make get to a certain level kind of forget where they came from and what it's like to be a consumer or what it's like to be just starting out with their program, and they don't necessarily they do all the things that they didn't like when it happened to them as a consumer, as a new breeder. They just it's just that vicious circle that they replicate. Talk about how important it is to have a mentor and people that you actually work with to help in your breeding program, and why that's essential to not only better your program but to better the breed itself. I feel like a lot of dogs, a lot of programs, and a lot of breeds, especially in the bully world, are uh, come with a lot of selfishness and lack of sense of community, and it's a little irritating to me. But talk about how important that kind of mentorship and that kind of community to be able to share stock and learn from, and to build a bigger picture outside of just your own yard.
Yes.
Well, it's hard, first of all, to find that mentor and that person in your inner circle. But once you find them, it's amazing to have them because they can lean on you and you can lean on them and you can bounce off ideas. Hey, what do you think if we did this? Or have you done this before? Or, what have you seen from this? I mean, because in the breeding industry, you think you know it all, and then something hits you sideways, and you're like, "Oh, I learned something new today." And it is constantly happening day after day, where you are always learning something, and you think it's going to go one way, and it goes another way, or you can learn from other people. It's just amazing to have that. Was it hard to find it? Yes. And there are a lot of people that won't support you. And that's unfortunate. But and then again, we also have each other, so we can bounce each other off ideas after each other. And we can go a little harder at each other because we are husband and wife.
Yeah. So I would say that finding a mentor for us first was kind of the combination of we were lucky,
Yeah.
and then we also were blessed.
Yep.
Because Karen, the fact that she's been doing this, she's going over 25 years doing this, and you know, she took us under her wing, and she's just shared everything that she knew with us openly, and I think it's important.
Her way of thinking is very much like ours, and she's very humble like us. So it's a one of those rare things that we can kind of keep everyone in the same direction, and going that way too.
There has to be mutual respect.
Yeah.
There have to be. We have to be humble, and you have to be open to feedback because
good and bad, because you're not always going to like what you hear, and that's the point of it, though. We have at the end we have the same vision. We want a healthy, happy, temperament, wonderful dog, and we both have the same visions on that. And if you can find someone that you align with that, you got to run with it.
So how important?
Extremely
important.
It's very lucky and extremely important for us to have that, and we appreciate it and don't take it for granted. That's for sure, and we'll love it. So
Yeah, I think some of the most successful programs, whether they forgot about it or not, uh, have had that in their journey, and I think that it just shows you how important it is, and maybe in the beginning or on what I call the front end, you're not seeing the dividends right away because you are involved in a partnership, and but I think in the back end you are going to reap the benefits. You know what I mean? And I think people don't have that malice of forethought that you need in this game, because there is so many variables, and nothing is black and white in this thing. And so I just think having that little a group of people that can do that, and I see it a lot. People that are on top of the game are people who have that strong core group of people that they can rely on, not only for breeding stock, but for marketing, to just being able to vent and have a second or third pair of eyes. It just helps.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting. Talk about in the beginning of your journey, what it was like looking for breeding stock, and how hard was that, and some of the doors that were shut, or people trying to uh, sell you some snake oil. What were some of the things that you guys had to go through?
I think it was hard because we searched for over a year looking for the proper dog. And I mean, some places you knew right away and you were like, okay, yep, this isn't happening. And other times you get the song and pony dance and you're thinking about it. But we never made any rush decisions because we knew we wanted to pick the right one at the time. But a lot of doors closed when we went places, but a lot of doors opened too. But going there and doing it really gives you a one-on-one on what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, what you really want.
Yeah, we ask a lot of questions whenever we were trying to build the stock and get the first dogs. About the health, the practices, and some of the answers were so convincing.
Yeah.
And then,
or they didn't know.
But then other people was like very on point, and like I said, Karen was the best. She had all the answers and she proved it. She showed it. She was an open book on everything.
Yeah.
And we were like, you know what? Yep, this is the right person. And then we started building from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we took our time. We were not in a rush. So I think that's important. Sometimes, if you want to get something that's real good,
it takes time.
You gotta take your time to find it.
Mm-hmm. To do it right, it takes time.
Yeah.
You can rush in and do anything, but to do it right, the way we envision it, is taking time. So.
Yeah. Probably helped that you were in the industry, the vet industry, to be able to realize the pitfalls if you do make the bad decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah, that to me is really essential. That even my 1 year of my beginning of adventure here is being patient and not making rash decisions. And sometimes what looks good in front of you maybe not be totally good because of other uh, variables that go on with uh, finding breeding stock. But yeah, you guys did it a little bit better than I probably did. I'm not as patient.
Patient and consistency.
Yeah, well, I fail on both of those sometimes. Talk about like what you envision your program within 3 to 5 years. What are you looking to solidify?
Okay. Um, well, right now we only have 2 breedings a year, the most average. Like I said, we're taking it slow, and we want to make sure we do it right. Like anyone else out there doing the same, well, we envision growth.
Mm-hmm.
We would like to be known. Hopefully, with the passing of the years, we built a great reputation, and the goal is to become one of the kennels that represent the breed successfully. They stand for the breed to do it right, and they put it out there for everybody to know. The breed, for as much as you might think people know it, it's not well known yet. So it always starts with individuals like us trying to do the best we can to do it right, to put the breed out there, to get it to be known by others, and being known as someone that do it right. Build reputation, and create something that hopefully, we can pass to our kids.
Yeah.
And they can continue after us.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well, what kind of advice would you guys kind of touched upon it, but what kind of advice would you give somebody who wanted to start an Old English program? We talked about patience and finding the right people and all of that, but what are some of the things that maybe some mistakes or things that you had to be told or reminded that you would want to share to somebody that was starting out so they can get on the right foot?
You got to have a lot of patience. You got to be, you always got to put your dogs first. Because if you don't put your dogs first, then what's the point of you doing this? I mean, there's not. You have to have dig some knowledge. It's always great to find an inner circle, someone that can help you, mentor you, you can learn from. You have to be open to advice. Because sometimes you don't see what the experienced person sees until later on. Because I've seen dogs, I'm like, man, that dog looks great. That has a great body. And then I look back on it, I watch videos because I'm always watching, learning videos and movements and stuff. And I go, what was I thinking back then? I totally see what they tell me now. I didn't see it when they told me, but I see it. So you got to trust in the people that you put around you too. What else?
I would say stay true to your vision.
Yeah.
Stay close to the vision of the breed, what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
This is the original idea, what this breed is supposed to be. Don't deviate from it. I know
Deviate can make
hard.
You lost.
It's hard, but don't lose sight of your vision.
Yeah.
The vision that what the breed was originally intended to be. Stay close to that. Try to be loyal as much as you can to that. Networking. Create good relationships with other individuals that are doing the same, because we want to be able to brainstorm and share ideas
and support each other.
Because that's how you build this. You cannot build it on your own. We as a whole, as a large number of individuals working together, are doing it. And then hopefully one day we can see this being recognized even more with time.
Yeah.
So I think those two are extremely important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
ahead.
that was the last, because we only do 3 breedings for our females. That's it. After 3 breedings, she's done.
We feel overbreeding is not fair to the dog, and we still want the dog to have a fulfilled life after being a mom.
So we knew it was the last one, and we want to take as much advantage of being the last breeding. And she is the beginning, and she's the best that we have had since we started this. And again, having a great partner, she was able to offer us, to pair one of the very well-known line, the Brinks line.
Yep.
Of the Old English Bulldog that she knows, and she gave us the opportunity to be able to do our last breeding in that line with that stud. And out of that line, we kept one puppy, one male, which is the one they got all those up there. And he's
only 9 months old.
He's only 9 months old now.
It was a good decision.
It was a good decision. Again, going back to the importance of having a great relationship, a great partnership, a great mentor, and building and networking with other people out there doing the same. It opens doors, and respect is extremely important. Trust,
Mm-hmm.
When we start going in that direction, opportunities arise, and you're able to create better. Sometimes we don't have what we really need in our yard, but someone else does.
To complement it.
And we miss that part that they need.
Mm-hmm.
So we put that together and we come up with something better. And we are really happy with the results of this last puppy. He is only 9 months old, and he looks amazing.
We're excited to see his future. Very excited.
Yeah.
No, he's the red one. He's the one follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. Yeah, went to the ABKC and got his first ribbons over there.
And then went to the WBA.
And then we just went
last weekend?
Yeah,
last weekend. Yeah.
Just past Saturday here in Kissimmee. And that's why we kept doing it. we were doing the dog show, and he did amazing, and I'm really proud of him. He did. I mean, we got to train a little more and practice a little more the gaiting, the walk.
He's young.
But he's young.
He's got it though. He's got the head, the chest, the rear, the structure, the bite. He's got pretty much.
Yeah. the judges were
everything we were
the
looking
judges
for.
were making good comments. You know, they were like, "Wow, amazing!" You know, they were impressed with the puppy, and they say, "Wow, you guys doing a good job." You know, and you know, we're really happy. So that is for us to something to be proud of. You know, being the last breeding that we have, and then the other two, well, they're in different states now. We saw the pictures of one of the two males, you know, that we sold, and he looks pretty
He looks good too.
he
Yeah.
looks pretty spectacular too. So kudos to the owner of that puppy. You know, you got a nice one looking, and hopefully somewhere in that, you know, whatever they are right now, they maybe encourage themselves to take him to a show or something. But I'm pretty sure whatever they walk with that dog,
They're gonna get stopped.
their eyes are flipping that direction, looking at him. Yes.
That's another thing. I love getting stopped on the street, going, "Wow, look at that dog."
Yeah.
I mean, that makes you feel good, and you know you're doing something right. Because if people are noticing, then you got the attention of everyone. So
Yeah.
Last question that you know, because I do like to hear about the with bulldogs. What is the whelping process like that you guys have had, and what's what are some of the ups and downs, and do they breed naturally, or is it still relied to C-section and all that?
our oldies are all healthy and breed naturally. Of course, you will run into a complication. We haven't ran into that yet, but their birth canals are wide enough that they can do all that themselves, which is amazing. So we are the whelpers.
Yeah.
We are always constantly with them after the first couple of days to make sure the mom is a good mom, because some moms are natural, some moms you kind of have to teach. But so far, we've been really lucky with our moms. They've been amazing moms, letting them feed, cleaning them, taking care of them. But it's just a lot of work in the beginning because it's just like an infant baby. You just need more time and less
the first
sleep.
week. Yeah, the first week is a lot of work. You know, very little sleep.
Yeah.
Because we have them very close to us. We have it set up real close to a room where we do the first week. And then the
We
whelping,
sleep with them, basically.
Yeah, and the
first
whelping,
week.
the whelping boxes. We built a nice whelping box to prevent any potential execution or accidents with the puppies. You know, when the moms is sleeping, maybe sleep over them and hurt them, and we may end up losing a puppy. But we did a lot of research on how to build a nice whelping box with a space where the puppies lay down under, and you know, there's no accidents that can potentially happen. Yes, natural whelping. Yeah, no issues there. In fact, one of our females delivered the puppies without us even realizing.
Yeah, we woke up one night to surprise puppies. Oh,
oh, there they are, all of them.
eight of them. Eight of them. Yep.
So the average that we're seeing in the number of puppies is 5, but we also know that sometimes they can go up to 8. We've seen eight puppies, you know, from our partner, and then we have 1/8 litter once. So yeah, that's the average number of puppies. But issues, and I gotta say, natural whelping, no issues, man. Those dogs are healthy. They do their thing. It's like they know what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks God. You know, no issues yet.
Yeah, for sure. One last question. This is also very important that I love hearing people's perspectives on this. What are some of the tough decisions that you've had to make with your burgeoning program, and how was that process?
I think the only tough decision is deciding your stock line and letting go what you don't see fit for your vision. So if the dog's nose is a little too long and not completely in your vision, you may love the temperament in that dog, but it's not going to help you in the long run. So you got to say, okay, this is going to be a great pet dog, a great loving dog, a great anything dog, but it's not 100% what you want. And if it's not 100% what you want, you got to let it go. I think that's the hardest part, letting go.
And then we have put a lot of effort trying to find the right homes too.
Yeah, that's hard too.
That's that's part of the difficult challenge is trying to find a perfect home for those dogs that we sometimes let go. Sometimes we just want to make sure it's in the right family. So we just
the right connection, the right love, the right attention. Yeah. Because they're our children, we raise them, so they're important for us to go to make someone else happy. Very important. So.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, is there anything that we didn't convey that you would like to say in closing?
Everyone should have an oldie.
Yeah, they're amazing dogs. Yeah, yeah.
I do plan on getting one. That is my goal here. I got to find one that I want a male on the smaller side, not necessarily smaller as far as bulk, but smaller and athletic on the smaller end of the standard.
Awesome.
I got to find one, but my wife is she 100% behind me and loves the dogs, but she's very like, oh God, please don't. Not right now. Wait. Anyway, I really I appreciate you guys coming on talking about your program, and
I
I
appreciate
really
it. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you much.
yeah, and I do. I love your dogs, and would love to have you come on and for a part two in the future and talk about your program a little more. Maybe when you have close to your next litter or after your next litter, we'll reconvene.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.